Hello, Chiquita and Damien, sorry. This is your sewer scope from today's inspection. It's me in the basement, jammed in there. Little tough to get to that outlet there, or port, but we were able to do it. We're dropping down into PVC, plastic polyvinyl chloride pipe. Little challenging to get started, but eventually we'll get rolling here. No issues in the beginning stages of the pipe. The PVC is in good shape. No concerns. The connections look good. I had run a fair amount of water prior to doing the sewer scope, so we're not holding water in any places. Everything looks fairly solid. We'll go about 42 feet before we make a change to cast iron, which is relatively normal. The opening, or the clean out for the main sewer stack, is at the back of the house. So we've got to go all the way across the width of the house before we get into the front yard, and before we get to coming up here in just another couple feet or so, right here, this cast iron. Now, it's going to take me probably a good solid 2 or 3 minutes to get going here and to get around this bend. Cast iron, which is the orange pipe that you see up ahead, when it gets older, it gets corroded, right? So it's very coarse, it's rough. So if there's a turn in the pipe, sometimes it's challenging to get the camera head to follow the pipe. Whereas if it was a very smooth-walled plastic pipe, it would just kind of skim along the edge of the pipe, and there wouldn't be an issue. But because it's rough, it's a bit challenging. So there's some tricks that you can do to get around it. What I'm going to do now is just turn on some water and wait for the water to make its way down the pipe. There it is, right there. And then I will eventually turn the water on even faster, and then eventually I'll get around the pipe. Because we're on the main sewer stack, and because there's not a bathroom in the basement, the only water that I can turn on without flooding the basement is the utility sink right there at the laundry. So that's the only one. And typically I'll turn on multiple fixtures if I can, just to get as big a volume of water. But it wasn't possible just because the access point was up on that main sewer stack pipe, and the water would just come gushing out of it. So about 42 feet into the cast iron, we'll get another 30-ish feet out or so, and then I'm going to be blocked. I'm not going to be able to go any further. It's holding water, so I can't really see what's going on, but there's something there that's inhibiting my forward progress, and something that's holding water. Could it be that we're at the city connection or close to the city connection at that point? It's possible. The house doesn't sit too far back off of the street. Typically, we're 90 to 110 feet before we get to the city connection, but I can't say that for sure. The only thing that I can say is that there's something that's obstructing the forward progress of the camera. What I'm going to recommend in the written report is to have the pipe further evaluated, to have somebody come in and see if they can clear out whatever obstruction there is in the pipe, check to make sure that there's no damage, and get all the way out to the city connection. The hope is that it's not any kind of damage or a collapsed pipe or anything like that. The other thing is, having the pipe cleaned or descaled would get rid of a lot of that coarseness in the cast iron. Here we go. Got past that. We're rolling along in the cast iron now, and you can see on the pipe how rough it is. You can see the camera head bumping around also. So I was almost about to give up on being able to get around that section of pipe. Glad that I was able to push past that. Not overly glad that I didn't get all the way to the city connection without any issues. But it's better to find these things out now than down the road. Yeah, here we go, right? So this is that section, right? So somewhat abraded around the edges. It almost looks like it's a transition point to a clay pipe. Again, that's just what it looks like. I can't really tell what's going on. I can't tell if, again, there's anything that's collapsed in the pipe or the line or what's going on there. So again, the best thing to do would be to have this cleaned to see if you can get it cleared out, and then make an evaluation at that point to see if there is any damage that needs to get fixed. There's a good possibility that if it is damage, it's in the street, which also kind of makes things somewhat obviously more expensive because you have to deal with busting up the street and dealing with the city on that. So definitely want to pass this on to a sewer and drain company and have them further evaluate the situation. I'm going to keep the camera rolling as I pull back. I'm not going to get any further than this. But I'll keep the camera rolling if you want to stay on and watch the return journey. Please reach out to me if you have any questions once you see this video. Obviously, you're looking at it now, and that you've read through the written report. Reach back out to me. I'm always happy to be a resource if I can help in any way.